Welcome to part one of my postpartum core activation series. This series is really about helping you connect to your core postpartum. And part one is the very basis, the starting point for recognizing and bringing that mind-body connection back to your core. So it's just a few simple, easy breathing movements to help you reconnect again. So I'm Bethany. I'm a mom of 2 young kids. I'm a full-time yoga teacher of over 10 years, and I specialize in working with pregnant and postpartum women. These core activation movements are something that I bring into my classes. They are approved by my physiotherapist. I've done them after both of my pregnancies, and after each birth, I've come back even stronger than before. So what I hope for you is to help cut out all of those questions, those Googling about what's safe, what doesn't work, all this misinformation on the internet, and give you really simple, very safe ways to reconnect to your core and what to think of, what to avoid when you're training. If this is what you're looking for, grab a yoga mat and let's reconnect. Welcome to Postpartum Core. These movements are for early postpartum, just to start to connect. So think first week's postpartum, what can I do? That's what I'm going to show you really briefly here so that you can just hop on the mat, check in, start to feel a little bit more like yourself, and then go back and take care of your baby as soon as nap time is over. On our back, I want you to step your heels in a little closer towards you. The feet are hip distance and your hands on your belly. Start to breathe into your belly, deep breath in, deep breath out. And then as you breathe, invite your breath into your belly, but also into your back. So starting to expand on the inhale. And as you exhale, start to engage with your pelvic floor and start to draw your belly button in. So we're lifting up and in, okay? Breathing in, we relax, belly expands. And as you exhale, drawing up and in. If you can't quite feel this, another thing that can help is to make sure that you don't have arching in your back. Do a little bit of a pelvic tilt so that you can press your low back towards the mat, okay? Another tip as you practice this is to check in with your rib cage. We don't want our ribs flaring out, but try to engage up like you're zipping up from your pubic bone up through to your ribs, okay? And you can stay like this, maybe just 2 more breaths, finding this core connection. All right. Now, if your feet slid away, step them in a little bit closer, and then bring your hands to press down by your lower belly. This was a great tip I got from my physio postpartum, is that you can use your hands to even like poke down into your belly so that as you're trying to find this muscle connection, you can start to feel that tightening when your muscles start to engage. So we're starting to connect to the transverse abdominals. We're not doing any crunching postpartum, but just working with this deep core. Okay, so take a breath in. And as you breathe out, try to find that deep connection and slide your right heel out just a couple centimeters and then bring it back in. So we work with this 4 more rounds. And as soon as you feel like the belly starts to soften, or maybe you start to get a peak in the belly, we don't want that. So we're just going to work to where you are today. Okay, we were just doing 5 total, so maybe you just have 1 more left. And then you come back up, relax the belly, soften it all out. And then find that connection again. Slight pelvic tilt, deep core engaged, the ribs aren't flaring. And we work with the left foot moving out and back in. And as you practice this week after week, if you'd like to start to move a little bit deeper, you would try to extend the leg a little farther and then bring it back in. But what you don't want is your belly to lift up or cone. We want to keep that deep, solid core connection. Okay? So we're just doing 5. And then relax, rock the knees side to side. Okay? And then the last exercise I'll give you, last movement for early postpartum, these are just thinking the first weeks, how do I find that mind muscle connection? As we come back to center, find that core connection and then lift your knees. Your shins are parallel, your knees are above your hips, and we're finding that deep core. Honestly, the first weeks postpartum, this is probably enough. You can have your hands on your thighs if that helps, just so that you're not moving too far forward or back. And you can stay here. But maybe after a week, you think, okay, well, Bethany, what else can I do? Okay. So we keep this core connection, lifting up through our pelvic floor, and you work with the right foot. Just tap the toes down and then back up. Try to keep the left knee still and back up. And those first weeks postpartum, this knee is probably going to go all around. You can have a hand there to help. And we don't want our belly to bulge, okay? So we're just doing 5 and then changing to the other side. Oh, this side's harder for me. And the great thing about these poses, these movements, is that you can always come back to them. Maybe you get comfortable in your movements and you're thinking, yeah, I'm not going to do so much core right now. But you come back and you realize, wow, well, these are really challenging. Okay, just one more. We're breathing here. And then relax. Bring your knees into your chest. Give them a nice big hug. A little bit of self-care as you hug in. Okay. That is it. Early postpartum connection. What can you do to connect that mind-muscle connection to move in a safe way? These are physio-approved movements. Something that I've done personally after both of my births to reconnect to my core and to help me come back and be stronger than I was before giving birth. So enjoy and see you on the mat soon for part 2 on how to build on these exercises.